The surroundings were all new to me when it was time to learn a new task, and the people who cared for me were teaching me their ways, which seemed to shape and mold the type of person I was becoming. As I grew bigger, the special way I felt at the beginning of that lifetime was rapidly changing to that of equal responsibility among my group, family. I was even starting to feel myself enjoy doing some of the things they taught me. I was starting to volunteer and take pride in the tasks that were assigned to me. I was learning what it meant to have pride and responsibility in being a great help to others. I knew that my first lifetime consisted of only my own needs and wants. But this time, I learned to share and truly care for the needs of others. This new lesson was one of unity and togetherness, which I didn't have the last time. To see the people who nurtured and groomed me as a youth go through sickness and other life-changing situations was an experience which really molded my heart and spirit. When they were just too sick or at an age that rendered them unable to care for themselves, and I came to their rescue as a youth, this built the type of character in me which would prove to be valuable later in life. At the time, not knowing that I would soon be a grown man again was a luxury which allowed me to experience selfishness and irresponsibility for quite a while before adulthood started to sink in and my time to start more spiritual lessons would begin. What I had learned as a child was very important as well, but the more complex lessons had been held back for the man in me. Coming of age was a tough pill to swallow the first time, and during this journey, I made some interesting discoveries. Looking back, I saw the spirits of many of those with whom I had a link in my past, doing whatever it took to be a part of my life during my second lifetime. I saw them all reappearing with different roles to play from the ones they had previously played. This time, they had come back as brothers, sisters, cousins, friends, rivals, enemies, teachers, neighbors, and so on. It was truly amazing how the spirits of others had a way of coming back and impacting my life when some of them I had only brushed by briefly in my past life. What was so insignificant to me in the past was a ticket for another to play a strong, significant role in my future. It was very clear to me that it was the choice of many of these souls to be a strong part of my life, and I was thankful that they chose to share their energy and knowledge with me. As I got older and my character started to take form, it was obvious to me that everyone's ego had a different agenda. What we had all meant to each other in a past life was being magnified and reshaped for many more lessons. There were little bits and fragments of a past existence which some would hold as their only reason for being, while others seemed to be motivated solely by the Spirit. Some came to me with pure love and devotion, while others returned bitter and full of contempt. Every little connection I made with someone was being redealt to me in a newer way with higher stakes than the last time. This time, the feelings which were involved had a much higher meaning to me. The people in my life now had a deeper connection than when I had first exited the sky. Our bond was closer and more meaningful, and it was not as easy to just walk away when the love, friendship, and brotherhood were constantly playing in my mind. And this time, I had to answer to someone in the flesh for all of the decisions that I made. This time, I had rules to follow on the playground. When I made my choices, I received rewards or punishments for them from my elders and peers. Not like before, when I just did as I pleased with very little conscience or regard for my actions. I was held accountable for so many things I did until I started looking for what I thought were better ways to accomplish my deeds. This new way of life took some getting used to and had many new rules for me to learn, both good and bad. Two of the things I learned this time, which had contrast in styles, were to own up to my actions, or to just lie and detour the responsibility. Most of the time my spirit would kick in and own up to my actions. But when things felt very heavy, my ego showed me another way, the birth of lies. If the truth would result in punishment for my actions, why not take a different road which can get me what I want without paying the full price for my own wrongful actions? That was the logic of my ego that has taken me down many roads, always resulting in my paying an even higher price for my deeds. When do I learn that the truth is the only way to go in the right direction? How many times do I allow my own ego to turn me against all that is pure? To this day, I still lie. To this day, my ego still fears my telling the truth to a certain point when I know what I did was wrong. I know that I have the power to make it on a steady diet of the truth, but I continue to consume the fruit from the tree of lies. And with each lie I tell, others lie to me even more, and my life becomes anchored in a deep valley of lies. The pain and betrayal I feel when someone lies to me is no more than the crime of my lying to others and causing them the same. Sometimes it takes many lessons in the same class to learn the difference between what we should do and what we choose to do instead. Becoming a man from the childlike state is an incredible experience. Feeling that I had to give up all I had gained only to start all over again was a true blessing for me. Not only giving up the material things, but also giving up some of the ways of a child to give way to the birth of manhood was one of the biggest steps for me to take in my second tour of duty. The transition was not smooth, nor was it graceful. It came to me as though someone dropped a sack of bricks on my foot. The things that I learned as a child were starting to feel very childlike as my manhood set in and craved more mature things. I was starting to drop old habits as fast as I would learn a new one, and it was just as hard for people to keep up with me as it was for me to keep up with myself. Sometimes I would not even know that I no longer liked something until it was in front of me again. It seemed as if one day I was playing with other kids, and the next day I was looking down at little hungry faces who expected me to provide them with food and shelter. I had now taken on the responsibility of a father almost as quickly as I had stopped being a child. Now the student becomes the teacher, and all I have are the lessons I learned from my parents, the wand of my ego, and the power of my spirit. I didn't speak of my father before because his role didn't mean much to me until now. Who he was in my past life still isn't quite clear to me, but what he was to me in this one is very close to a mirror image of who I am in this second tour of duty. He was the roar of a lion when discipline needed a louder voice than mother's. He was the heavier hand when mothers became light of rule. He was true authority, which I never questioned as a youth, to show me that I was not yet ready to be the man I was feeling myself quickly becoming. He was the watcher who knew my time to be a man before I did. He was me before I was me.
Wow, I really enjoyed this video. I can't wait to see what's next.